Now, this week's episode is just for executive directors and executive directors who do not have in house fundraising support. Now, the rest of you can listen. You're welcome to absorb what I have to share, but this is specifically for you. So many of you, and I have lived in that space as an executive director, probably struggle with finding ways and time to build in major gift fundraising in your daily life. You know you need to do it. You know that it's going to take the organization to the next level, but you're struggling with finding time to do it. Making time for major gifts and how executive directors can build fundraising into their daily flow. That's our focus on this episode. Let's huddle up. Hey, welcome to another episode of Huddle Up with Mark, the Fun Coach. I'm Mark Duncan. I'm excited about this topic, partly because this is exactly the issue that encouraged me to become a coach. You see, when I started my career in fundraising, I started, first of all, when I discovered this whole love that I have with fundraising, it was while I was on the direct care side or overseeing the programmatic side of the organization. And I worked as a camp director, a program director. And it was at that moment that I realized that fundraising was a thing. And that's because our boss was talking about launching a capital campaign. I said, "What's that?" And the rest is history. And so in order for me to engage in this, I needed to become an executive director of another organization, which I did. And I unknowingly made fundraising such a priority that I intuitively did the things that I'm going to share with you because I was so excited about engaging in this. Now, the organization I worked for at that time had only generated about $2,000 a year in philanthropic support. That usually came in as a result of a direct mail campaign. Now, mind you, this was in the Stone Ages when you think about it. We're talking about the late 90s, before, um, you know, giving online was a thing, before email solicitations were a thing. The only solicitations that really happened were by direct mail. But when I arrived at this organization, I immediately said to my team, this is going to be my focus because I knew the things that needed to be done at the organization to take it to the next level, to make the camp program better, safer, more attractive to parents and families and churches so that the organization, could thrive. And so when I got there, I kind of rolled my sleeves up and went to work and said, this is what I'm going to focus on. Now, many of you may not have had that desire when you took this role as executive director. Your passion, as it should be, was connected to the mission, was connected to solving the problem that your organization is working on or addressing the programmatic side of the mission so that the people that you serve have a good and positive experience and have wonderful outcomes. And the fundraising thing is separate. And that's what I want to talk about today. First and foremost, and these are some habits I want you to take on. One of them is, most importantly, looking at your mindset around fundraising. Do not look at major gifts, and this is the mistake that many will make, as extra, as an extra task, as extra money. Um, because when you look at it as extra, you're not going to make time for it. It's going to feel like it's over and above everything else that you have to do when it really needs to be incorporated in what you do as a leader. So fundraising is not separate from the mission. It's not separate from the mission delivery. It's how you make the mission possible when you fundraise and you do it well. So it has to be incorporated in everything that you do. And I'm talking particularly about major gifts. The executive director's time as it relates to your organization is the most valuable fundraising resource. Let me say that again. You, as the executive director, your time is the most valuable resource when it comes to fundraising. And I say this because the data shows this. When you look at fundraising and the largest source of philanthropic revenue, particularly here in the United States, it's coming from individuals, not foundations, not corporations, but actual people. I say this all the time. You can look it up in the Giving USA data any year you choose. That's what you're going to find, that around 68, 69% of all giving is coming from individuals. And when you add bequests, it's well over 70%. So this is where you need to be spending your time. And it starts by building, a machine so that people can give in a small way to the organization, very transactionally. Your job will be to move them from being transactional givers to being relational donors so that they can make transformational gifts. That's the objective. If I were to describe fundraising in a nutshell, that's it when it comes to individuals. And that's your job. So your time is the most valuable. When you engage in this and you make fundraising a priority, you are modeling for your staff how important your mission is, and that you're out there seeking financial support to fund it, to grow it, to advance it, to increase the services that you provide. And the other thing that you have to do is you've got to challenge false beliefs. Because a lot of times we get caught up in putting out fires, right? The what I call fake emergencies. These are the things that are stopping you from engaging in fundraising. Something's come up. Oh, I've got to address this. Oh, this person called me. Oh, this board member. I need to call this board member because they have an issue. It is important to make fundraising intentional. First thing you have to do is make it a priority. You do that by being intentional about blocking out time on your calendar. And I'm talking about 8 hours a week. And if you work a 40-hour week, and I know many of you work longer than that, that represents 20% of your time. This is what I tell all executive directors. 20% of your time should be spent engaged in fundraising, not in the busy work associated with that, not in the, oh, I've got to set up this, uh, you know, direct mail campaign. We're not talking about you spending that time writing the direct mail letter and making sure that it gets in the mail and all those things. No, I'm talking about relationship fundraising, picking up the phone, calling, scheduling visits, going on visits, making the case, making the ask, and closing the deal. 20% of your time. Calendar it and let your staff know that this is sacred time because this is what it's going to take to get our organization from here to here. See, if you do this, you can actually 10x your fundraising, especially if you're walking into an organization that already has a donor base that has been giving transactionally. Now you can take the steps to move them from, again, transactional givers to relational donors who can make transformational gifts. Now, let's talk about some of the common time traps, right? I mentioned this a few moments ago. Reactive leadership, constantly responding to emails, board requests, internal issues. Like it's the trap, right? Yeah, I used to call it getting sucked in. Like I had to get out of the office, otherwise, or not go to the office because once I went to the office, I got sucked in. And my intention to focus on relationship fundraising is gone because I got drawn into what was there and I can't ignore it. I'm there, I'm mired in it, got to deal with it. So we've got to be intentional setting aside time. And if that means that you're not visible in the office, that is okay. As long as your staff knows where you are and only to reach out to you if there is an emergency, then be out of the office. If that means you make those phone calls from home or do those emails from home to schedule those visits, do that. If it means you do it in a coffee shop, do that. Create an environment for yourself that's going to keep you focused. You want to start your day with relationships. The sooner you lean into this, so I always say, you know, if you can block out mornings, it's always easy to get people to meet with you in the morning, whether it's for coffee or for breakfast, um, especially if you get to them before their day starts. So we're talking about 7:30, maybe 8 o'clock. They have to be at the office at 9, or they can go in a little bit later, but you're actually spending that time meeting with them first thing. Great time to meet. I had most of my donor meetings took place in the morning, except for when I was traveling. So start your day with relationships. Block out time on your calendar, be intentional about it, 20% of your time to focus on relationship fundraising and focus on your visibility as it relates to how the community is seeing you. If you're in an organization that is serving the community, then be visible in the community. Go sit in that coffee shop where there is a lot of foot traffic and people will see you and know that you are the leader of this organization. That is going to go a very long way. You also need to overcome any guilt that you're having about doing this. And this comes down to making sure that you have a staff that you trust, that you are empowering them with the ability to do their work autonomously. Because if you can't trust that they're getting the job done while you're away, then you've got the wrong people on the bus. And you're going to have to take a look at that so that you can focus on relationship fundraising. See, the objective here, and I say this often, is executive directors, and I'm focused on this. I'm not talking about development directors. I'm not talking about um, development assistants, right? Because sometimes we think that fundraising is for a development person, and so we wait until we can hire one, and then we let them do it. My thinking is, if you want to hire a really good development director, then you need to lean into this relationship fundraising, build the sustainable philanthropic support that will allow you to hire somebody who can now take it to the next level. But that doesn't mean you stop. It means that you continue, except your portfolio now becomes a higher quality of donors and prospects who have the capacity to give six, maybe seven figure gifts. See where I'm going here? So you've got to release yourself of any guilt that you're feeling about leaving the office, leaving your staff um, to go out and raise these dollars. You are doing your job. And we're only talking about 20% of your time. So make it a priority, block out time on your calendar, relieve yourself of the guilt. Don't get caught in the trap, the office trap, right? That you find yourself in when you walk in and you this problem, that that problem, and then you're unable to get away. And trust me, just those few little things are going to make a huge difference in your fundraising. But you've got to be intentional about it. Otherwise, days go by, weeks go by, months go by, fiscal years go by, and you're not moving the needle. And you're looking for something magical to happen. And this is not magic. This is about priority and activity. That's it. There really isn't any magical thing about this. You just got to do the work. And you've got to do the work because of what it results in. So I hope this was helpful to you. Happy to chat with you about this. Feel free to either reach out to me via email or go to my website, thefundcoach.com. That's thefundcoach.com. And in the upper right hand corner, there's a green button, and you can schedule a strategy session with me completely free. And let's talk. Again, I hope this was helpful. And as always, the whole reason why we do this fundraising thing, the whole reason why you, as an executive director, are making this a priority, because fundraising is not about the dollars. It's about what the dollars do for the people that you serve. Thanks. And we'll see you next time.